He is a two-time PBA playoff champion, Kyle Troup. Tonight, the pro with the pro is back here in Detroit to try for belt number 3. The 2025 PBA Playoffs start now on FS1. And here we are, historic Thunderbowl Arena inside Thunderbowl, Allen Park, Michigan, the scene for the PBA Playoffs. And tonight you'll see the opening of round number 1 with the number 9 seed, Anthony Simonsen, taking on the A seed, 20-year-old Ethan Fiore. Then Kyle Troup, two-time champion of this event, takes on the always steady Tim Foy Jr. Later on, Jacob Buckriff, Jesper Svensson, Ryan Barnes, Chris Fye to make up all of round 1. We welcome you inside, along with multiple Hall of Famer Randy Peterson and Kimberly Pressler. I'm Dave Lamont. Let's start with Kyle, Randy, because I think he would be the first to tell you this has not been his best season. Yeah, it's been a struggle in 2025 for Kyle, but he somehow grinded his way to the 12th and final spot in this event. Kyle, a back-to-back winner of this event back in 2021 when he broke the single season earnings record just shy of $500,000, and then followed it up with another win in 2022, the only past champ in this field. He's looking for title number 13. Tim Foy Jr. having his best season as a professional, 5th in points, 6 televised appearances. He's still looking for his first win on tour. And it's very unusual to say this, but Anthony Simonsen has gone this entire season without a victory, but he is a dangerous dude at number 9. Always. Injured most of 2025, the youngest major champ ever. He's had a lot of success in this building, and with that comes confidence. And then finally, Ethan Fiore started the season as a pre-tournament qualifier. That's right. Now he's a major champion. He is your number 8 seed. And both those players are standing by right now with Kimberly.
Thanks, Dave. So, Ethan, this is your first appearance at the playoffs, and unlike any other event, there is no match play, there is no qualifying. So how did you prepare for this one?
I didn't.
That's a bold move. Why did you go with that strategy?
Because it's just a game. You just got to go out there and bowl and hope you catch a break in there and just throw good shots.
Good luck to you today.
Thanks.
And Anthony, a decade ago, you won your first major at 19 years young. Ethan won his at 20. What are your thoughts on this new group of young and up-and-comers?
They're starting to make me feel old. I know the receding hairline's already making me feel old, but with these young guys starting to win, it's starting to really take a toll on me, so I can only imagine how some of these older guys feel.
Well, you just heard Ethan's interview, and he said that he didn't practice before coming into this, and once upon a time, I remember having the same conversation with you. Do you see a little bit of yourself in Ethan and these young and up-and-comers?
Whenever he made that answer, I wanted to blurt out me too, so it should be an equal match here.
Good luck to you today.
Thanks.
All right, thank you guys very much. That was brilliant. Yep. We'll see what happens. The winner will move into a match with E.J. Tackett. But first things first, race to 2, and if we're tied at 1, we'll have a 2-frame roll-off. Fiore is the higher seed, so he wants Simonsen to start the match. And he'll get a little late tapper on the 10. Get things started.
Using lanes 10 and 11, so we're using 2 pairs. No ball return in the center. And we'll get into the old patterns here in just a bit.
And that's right, he did say patterns. Fiore just a little bit high through the nose. He'll have a simple spare to shoot at.
Dave, when was the last time you saw a major champion use a 3-step approach?
Not very many, unless they're forced to by where the ball return is.
Well, he does it just to control his ball speed. We saw that at the Players Championship.
And isn't it unusual for a two-hander to have to take so few steps also?
Well, and again, you made a great point. When they're standing in front of the ball return, you see that. And he just took 5 steps there on a spare shot.
Well, whatever he does, at this point, he could take a dozen steps. But you brought it up, Randy, and I think it's a great story. Tim Foy Jr., who we will see later, had earned his card for the year 2024, part of the Tour Trials. Ethan was in that crowd, did not get the card. So, for example, at the Pete Weber tournament, he did win the pre-tournament qualifying to get into the field. So he started this year without a card. He's going to end it with a major championship and a berth in the playoffs. And no messenger there.
And with all of that you mentioned, a full-time exemption as well.
Yep.
You could hear him kind of mumble go. He wanted this to hold its line a little bit longer. Just a titch high, leaving the solid 9.
And that major championship victory gave him enough points to thrust him inside the top 12.
Taking a look at Anthony's arsenal, that is a level.
All right, Randy, let's take a look at tonight's oil pattern. It, of course, is powered by Kegel.
Dual oil pattern, the Billy Hardwick Hall of Famer, 44 feet on the right, bat pattern, 37 feet on the left. The longer pattern, the players are going to play more towards the center part of the lane and feed it to the track area down lane. On the shorter pattern, look for the players to use urethane to start and maybe follow that with some reactive resin, chase that pattern more towards the center.
Simonsen off to a perfect start.
Using 2 different bowling balls for the 2 different patterns. He's using IQ Tour 78 on the left lane. Going with Evoke Hysteria on this right lane is Ethan. And I think Tank Rampage Pearl on the left.
Got a perfect shot there. Wow, sweet power from Ethan. And if any of the pros on the night show bowl a perfect game, everyone in America can receive a free game of bowling courtesy of Go Bowling. To register, visit gobowling.com and sign up for the Go Bowling Free America promotion.
Typically when we see dual patterns, the longer pattern's always on the left lane. This time it's reversed.
Yeah, so he adjusted nicely. And is countering with a double against Simonsen, who's perfect through 3.
Ethan started 4-pin, 9-pin, and then Beauty's right behind it. Kicks a 10 late for a double, only down by 11 now. And that no ball return really helps on that right lane if the players have to get in real deep. Nothing in the way.
Mixer, yes, sir. 4 for 4 for Anthony Simonsen, the first player to win 5 majors before 30 when he won the 2023 USBC Masters.
Finished second last month in this building to Gary Haynes at the Masters.
And the 2023 title was in this building. So you're not kidding. He is super comfortable here.
Yeah, Thunderbowl is like a second home to Simo.
He cleared out a lot of garbage there, so he just has the one to shoot at.
That's a really good 9, by the way.
Body language says it all.
Yeah.
That is a look of relief.
97% of the time, the 2 pins covered. And how do we know that? Well, because of our good friends at Lane Talk. You want to be a better bowler, increase your scores, head on over to lanetalk.com and download the free app. And he can tie it all up with 2 more in the 5th and 6th right here. Can young Ethan Fiore.
And anybody who watched that roll-off won't forget it anytime soon. The one against EJ. So you could hear him say roll, and it just came up a hair short.
This one did a really nice job of just getting back to the 1-3. What'd you make of his comment to Kimberly in the interview?
About not practicing?
About not preparing.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was honest. I mean, he could have come up with something phony just for a soundbite, so I give him credit for being honest. Showed a little sense of humor, too.
How did you prepare for this? I didn't really.
Well, when he's hardly had the time. I mean, things when he won that Players, things really he had to hit the gas. He gets right into the TFC the very next couple of days. Made match play in the TSC. So he has been bowling quite extensively. And also was part of the motive team for Battle of the Brands. So he has been bowling a lot. It did. So Anthony Simonsen with the edge through 5.5 here in the opening match of the 2025 PBA Playoffs. Still to come, Kyle Troup versus Tim Foy Jr. The winner of this match between Simonsen and Fiore draws EJ Tackett. The PBA on FS1 is sponsored by Go Bowling. For friends and family fun, log on to gobowling.com to find a center near you. And Anthony Simonsen stepping back up to the plate, up by 21. 5-time major champion, 16-time titleist. 3 of them in 2024 and 3 in 2023.
Thank you.
I think he did a little patchwork on his ring finger during the break. Take a little new skin, put it on an open cut. It's always an eye opener.
So's that.
Yeah, ether that's in that new skin. You get those cuts on your fingers, and then you got to put that ether in there. Burns like hell, and then you put a patch on top of that.
Hey.
Some more ether.
How quickly does that take effect? I don't mean the pain.
That's instantaneous. It dries pretty quick.
Trip trouble out of the way. Still has a single pin to shoot at. You know, this year for the last month or so, Anthony has been circling and circling and circling a title. He just hasn't gotten it, but he's made a bunch of shows. Obviously, the USBC Masters this year, that dramatic loss to Gary Haynes. That's why I called him dangerous at the beginning of the show. It's just like you can't count him out. He's getting better. And makes that look good. Max scores. Can't get any closer. hurry, and it doesn't.
They got it out to that same spot where it came up light, leaving the flat 10. This time a little more ball speed, and it pushes even longer.
Almost 95% on the 2-4 for the pros.
He's got all the tools, though, and he's only 20. It's a little scary.
Yeah, you wonder what you look at him. I mean, what would you tell him? Do you tell him anything? Well, you know, Ethan, if you just did this, you'd even be better. I mean, is there something there?
Yeah, keep bowling. Bowl as much stuff as you can.
Yeah.
Right now for him, it's all about experience.
And in his television appearances, the dude has not backed down one bit, as he's shown. So the lights don't seem to bother him at all. Oh, come on. I can't believe that.
He was involved in the longest roll-off in television history on the PBA Tour with E.J. Tackett that went 7 frames. And I think it was that pin right there that stopped him.
I believe you are correct. Well, he's not an emotional player either. If you watch him, he just stays within himself, stays calm.
My hand keeps getting.
I was going to say it was on line and it was the right speed.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's, I was going to ask you about the left lane.
That's Brett Spangler, ball rep for Ethan. Boy, that held like a champ.
Left lane longer pattern, right lane, excuse me. Right lane longer pattern, left lane shorter pattern. Anthony going nice and direct, and I believe he is perfect on the right lane. He is.
You'll get a good look at that shorter pattern.
Better. Maybe.
Oh my, yes! A little back tripper on the 2. You know what that means?
I do.
That was a clean wipe presented by Dude Wipes.
No fear, all clear. Down goes the 2.
Interesting, because you could hear him say, better, it's better, and he almost didn't get the strike. That, if Messenger is going the wrong county.
And that was a ball change. Figuring he's out of this game 1 and looking at something different on the right lane.
Don't forget this race for 2, so Ethan's got another shot at Simonsen.
Venom Shock is the ball he just threw. It looks like the same ball in his hand now.
And that was a tester.
It was. So it was a ball change and he moved in.
Some of the audience might have been confused by that, but
I like the expression on the guy's face in there. He was like, ew, what was that? No, that was a test. He was just checking to see his strike line.
there you go.
His mind is made up on that lane.
Yeah, that's the bowling equivalent of pulling the goalie. You know, you're probably not going to win here. Let's just see if we can get another goal. If we don't, that's okay. Who cares if we win 6-2 or 4-2? At this point, I just need to get things ready for the next game. In this case, so for Ethan, he now knows he's going to be down 1 and eliminated if he loses the second game. Okay. Let's see if he tries a different ball. Yeah, looks like he is.
Yeah, he's going to look reactive now in that lane. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's about
I'm gonna
4
throw that
boards right of where he wanted it.
Wrong ball, just a bad shot. What was that?
Bad shot.
Yeah.
I don't have an angle. I have the second one in the 9th look.
Simonsen looking at another ball as well. Right time to do it. Keeping the options open.
So Anthony's up 1-0. He can lock out Ethan with a victory in the second game. If Ethan gets the dub, then we'll go to a 2-frame roll-off.
Locked in, man.
Yes, he is.
He is locked in.
By the way, a little bit later on this evening, we will be joined by Andrew Anderson, who is the #2 overall seed for the PBA playoffs. He's kind of like the Nick Faldo in the 2000 U.S. Open, with EJ being Tiger Woods, winning by 15 shots as far as the point standings go. And up behind the 10 pin. All right. Convincing victory for Simonsen, but this isn't total pins we're counting here. It's each game is its own separate entity.
Yep.
And in game 1 of Simonsen starting fast with a front 4. And Fiore didn't get any breaks like that, but Anthony did. Anthony Simonsen on top 1-0 over Ethan Fiore. And if Simonsen grabs this next game, he's moving on to a quarterfinal matchup in the round of 8 against EJ Tackett.
All right, let's go down to the floor and talk with Motive Tour rep Brett Spangler. Brett, what does young Ethan need? Hi. What does young Ethan need to do in this next game to get back in this match?
Well, you know, I feel like the left lane's under control. We're just going to throw it over the front a little bit, catch it a little bit on the right lane. I think the stretch that Anthony created with the ball he was throwing may have affected him about the middle of the game. So we're good.
All right, Brett, thanks very much. And as always, that stash is on point, my brother.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think the stash is eventually going to get its own social media account. It might as well.
It already has one.
Oh, it does?
Don't kid yourself.
I should know better. All right, let's see if this strategy pays off and if Ethan can execute. The answer so far, yes.
I think the picture's a little clearer for him on the left lane, the shorter of the two patterns. Now, what does Simo go with after a monster 258 first game? He is actually going to change balls on the right lane. And that looks like it's an Attention Star S2. And that's 10 in the pit.
Yeah, you said it. He's dialed in right now.
All right, the first one has to be good. Has to be good.
See how low he gets with his upper body going into the foul line. What a career. And he's, how old, 28?
That's the funny part about this, because he started succeeding at such a young age.
And he still is.
Yeah.
We figured out how to slow him down, just get his back to hurt.
Got to go. He does. Oh, boy.
Hey, he made a ball change there as well. Went to I'm trying to read this. Origin EX. So he got out of the urethane on that left lane, went to reactive. You heard him say this one has to be good. It was.
Yeah, stand in the same spot. And if it's still kind of like
And a little loft as we expected, and a big problem. The first split of the evening.
Well, it's only 2 frames into game 2, but I think it's fair to say that Fiore's in trouble. But because he has completely lost the right lane. He does not know what to do on it.
And he went overhand on that, just clipped the 8. I thought maybe he would try a backup ball. We've seen him do that before. But instead,
stays with the urethane on the short pattern. At least he has an idea of what his ball is going to do on that left lane.
It'll be interesting to see if he tries the same approach on the right lane when he gets back there.
Down the right lane.
Oh, wow. I didn't foresee a bucket.
About a half a mile an hour faster on that shot, and he leaves the bucket.
So Anthony Simonsen can now really take a stranglehold here with a double.
That was not that bad. So I think we just got to get on top of him at this point. Yeah.
Won the inaugural Pete Weber Missouri Classic.
Well, that seems appropriate. Bowling Genius wins Bowling Genius tournament.
Lock and
Tony, can I have a
load.
re-rack, please?
Take a re-rack on the lane.
Right around the 8th board, down by that rangefinder.
Registration for the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships is open to bowlers of all skill levels. The PBA LBC National Championships is returning to the Chicago area and has a division for everyone. You can compete in singles and optional doubles and team events. Even combine your scores with the pros. Just enter today at pba.com. A little bit high, and a lot of traffic around that pin, but not enough to knock it down.
Again, ball change in game number 2 on both lanes for Simo.
I mean, I did get around it more, but.
Well, he seems just totally calm, totally at peace right now. I would be too if I could throw the ball that well.
Yeah, he seems like he's in a good spot mentally right now.
That's bad news for other people. It did. And Fiore's not out of this yet. But he has to have this point or he will be eliminated.
A little bit more direct on this shot. Just left of 3rd arrow. No loft that time. Good result.
What was the idea, you think, with the loft?
I'm not really sure, because typically when you loft the ball, you're trying to delay hook.
We almost got another bucket.
Really?
Well, you saw Simo get out of the urethane ball early, right?
Right.
Ethan stayed in it, and his last 2 shots went bucket, and now 2.58.
4 pin somehow fit through all those pins.
Look out.
Oh, boy.
So if Simonsen is any indication, Ethan stayed in the urethane too long.
You see what Anthony has accomplished in his incredible career. Ninth on the points list. Fiore was 8th.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
Just singing in the rain right now. It's just, yeah.
Putting on a clinic.
Huh.
Just kind of chasing that pattern on both lanes, just kind of creeping in. He's missed the pocket once in a game and a half.
And if he holds on here, E.J. Tackett and Anthony Simonsen in the round of 8.
Man, what a great matchup.
Oh, boy. How do you win 5 majors? How do you win 16 titles? How do you win when you're 19? How do you win when you're in your mid-20s? This is how you do it. If you're Anthony Simonsen and one of the game's greats in top form. Back at Troup Arena, PBA Commissioner Tom Clark in the background there over the left shoulder of Ethan Fiore, who's in some serious trouble. Down 1 point and down 55 pins to Anthony Simonsen, who is sailing along.
It's still behind it.
Hang on. Woo-wee. That's as close as you can get. And there is, and boy, you and Tom Clark have something in common coming up.
Yeah, just next week, Tom and I are both getting inducted in the USBC Hall of Fame. It's going to be a great evening. I'm so happy for Tom and the other inductees going in that evening. It's going to be great.
No, I'm so happy for you.
Myself, Tom, Keith Hamilton, Shannon O'Keefe, Brian Goebel. Be a great night. And thanks for that, Dave. Stayed in the urethane too long, my friend. Light.
Super tight all of a sudden.
Yeah, we've seen a bucket, a near bucket, and now this. He's every combination.
Yeah. Yeah, bucket without the 4. Now it's the bucket without the 8.
Puts that right in the pocket. 83% conversion for the PBA Tour.
Almost found.
Someone may have had a cell phone pop off, so we might get a light admonition about that. But if you're Anthony Simonsen, you're just letting everybody else know in this event that you're in good form, you're comfortable, you're in a favorite house, and you're not going to be an easy out. It's an exhibition, really, of his skills right now.
See, I think he's missed once on the right lane, and that was his fill shot, game 1. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's missed once. That was on his fill shot, so we won't even count that.
No. And in the 4th, he got just a tick high, right? Left a 4 pin.
Yep.
That was and he had that one miss that was the 2 pin that you called a good 9.
Yep.
That might have been his worst shot, and even that was 9 pins.
Yep.
Yeah, this has been a wonderful performance by Simo. That's at this point that doesn't mean much or anything.
No, you're not going to get it back from that spot, though.
No.
But it doesn't matter. It's all but over. Simonsen really managed his game nicely, and his decision-making was obviously on point.
Our next match will be Kyle Troup and Tim Foy Jr. The winner of that will take on Graham Fa in the round of 8. Nice. With just 2 races left before the Indy 500, the Indy Car Series, it's Barber for the Children of Alabama Indy Grand Prix. The fastest racing on earth continues live from Birmingham tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern on Fox. You know, all the talk we had, Randy, recently about sweet swings. Notice the Amleto Pro Shop?
I do.
Speaking of sweet swings.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Amleto Monticelli, of course, we're talking about.
slower.
Hall of Famer. Still competitive on the PBA 50 Tour. Still in incredible shape. And Anthony Simonsen has advanced.
Yep.
Take on E.J. Tackett in the round of 8.
That lady's already sang her song, and he is moving on.
Ethan Fiore's season ends quietly, but he made a big bang winning at 20 years old. Of course, he beat an old guy and 22-year-old Ryan Barnes for the title. Had to be one of the youngest major championship finals ever. 42 combined years for the two competitors.
What's interesting is that Simon's gone through 5 balls already, and Ethan never changed out of the urethane on that left lane, maybe because he thought it was too late, but and yet another ball change there. So 6 different pieces of equipment now, I think, for Simo. Nope, 5.
Forever gathering intel.
Yep.
And when he faces Tackett, the lanes are going to be treated a lot differently by EJ than they were by Ethan. So.
I mean, there's got to be a sticky spot right there. It's the only, I've stuck both times I've slid there.
So Fiore will finish up his 10th.
Thanks,
Bright future, though, for this young man, Ethan Fiore. He's got all the talent. That was a 5-step approach, I believe, that time. Oh, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Nice having you over.
Yeah. How fitting.
Can I throw 2 balls?
If you can do the Norm Duke trick, yes. Take a run at it. So it's Anthony Simonsen with a dominant victory, 2-0 over Ethan Fiore. That sets the stage for an incredible match next week with Simonsen versus Tackett. Can't wait to get to that quarterfinal match. We got a lot of work before we do, though. Our next match will be Kyle Troup versus Tim Foy Jr. And the winner is standing by with Kimberly.
Anthony, congratulations on this win. You were able to sweep Ethan in this race to 2. How were you able to figure out these patterns so quickly?
I actually made use of my practice yesterday, so I normally don't do that. I had a nice little session. Was just comfortable. I've found good ball motion early. I could kind of tell that his ball reaction wasn't great, and I think that helped me be a little more comfortable and make some better shots. So it was a good start, and we look forward to bowling EJ.
Well, with this win, you now advance to the round of 8, and it's going to be the Clash of the Titans because you're taking on the #1 seed, EJ Tackett. With your performance here today, what are your thoughts on that match?
You know, EJ's had a lot of success here and everywhere in the world, so I don't expect him to bowl bad. So we're going to probably need some scores like we had that first game today to beat him, and we'll see what happens.
Congratulations on advancing.
Yeah, terrific job by Anthony to move on to that round of 8 in that heavyweight championship versus EJ Tackett. Right now, it's going to be Tim Foy Jr. Had a spectacular season now that he's back on the tour full time, but he's got to take on a 2-time playoff winner in Kyle Troup. We welcome you back to the PBA Tour Playoffs and take you back to the PBA Mike Albee Nevada Classic presented by Pilgrims. It was a rematch of this year's U.S. Open final. Andrew Anderson, EJ Tackett. Just after Tackett had won the longest roll-off in PBA history, it wasn't necessary this time because Andrew Anderson took care of business for his first title since Jonesboro in 2018. Welcome you back to the desk. This looks like the world's worst Prince tribute band with all this purple, but instead we welcome PBA champion Andrew Anderson to this. And Andrew, congratulations on this season. #2 overall in points. You've thrown it great all year. What has been the difference between, say, past years and 2025?
This is the closest I could get to that suit you got on, color-wise. But yeah, confidence, healthy confidence, a lot of good vibes going, momentum. You know, I think in the offseason making the ball switch was a momentum builder, a reset button for me personally, and I hit the ground running. I mean, to qualify first at the U.S. Open, losing did kind of suck, but I got a little revenge.
You know, we talked a lot over the last couple of months, Andrew, about confidence and what it does for players, and we saw what it did for you. I was no different back in my playing days. How was Anthony Simonsen's confidence in that last match?
Oh, I mean,
he was switching balls like on the fly.
You know, when people get in a roll, when you're that, I mean, you felt it too. When you're throwing it that good, you don't really mind what ball you throw.
Right.
You're just like, okay, well, I don't think that one's it anymore. Let's try the next one. You throw it so good that the ball really doesn't matter.
Right.
Makes the ball change look really good.
Well, it is time for another edition of Pressing Questions with Kimberly Pressler, presented by Go Bowling. And it's entirely possible somebody on this desk has made an appearance. And the question is, what's the worst advice you've ever gotten?
Jason, what's the worst advice that you have ever been given?
Yeah, that I should stop bowling with 2 hands and bowl like everybody else because, you know, it just won't work bowling with 2 hands.
Chris, what is the worst advice that you have ever been given? Could be about bowling, could be about anything.
I don't know, be myself.
I guess the worst advice I've ever been given is to always go out there and just go max effort. Sometimes 80% or 90% is what you need instead of going 110.
The worst advice that I ever got, surprisingly, was from my grandfather. He told me when I was younger that I shouldn't be watching anybody else bowl. And I understood what he was saying. He wanted me to focus on my own game. But I learned so much out here by watching everybody else and finding out what they were doing and how that could, you know, improve my game.
Jason, what's the worst advice that you have ever been given?
I would say don't change. If you're not willing to evolve, like, the game's going to pass you by.
Yeah, every 3 tournaments or so, my ball rep, Rob Gottschall out here, tells me to calm down while I'm in the heat of the moment. I truthfully hate it, and it makes me less calm, so it's by far the worst advice I've ever been given.
Tom, what's the worst advice you have ever been given?
Here's a pair of dice and throw them on the table. That's the worst thing I ever did.
What is the worst advice you've ever given someone?
What do they say, get even or get even worse in the casino? Yeah, I probably told a few people to give that a shot.
Well, there is Kyle Troup. He's in the next match against Tim Foy Jr. I'm hesitant to ask Randy the worst advice he's ever been given.
Oh, invest in Bitcoin.
That's right up there, no doubt about it. Kyle Troup has won this thing twice, but he's drawn a tough opponent in the #5 seed in Tim Foy Jr. Neither player has a PBA Tour win this year. Both have been right around titles, but this is Kyle's first show as an individual, which is even more surprising, guys, given that he still somehow got into this thing in the number 12 position.
Yeah, I mean, I think didn't the same kind of thing happen to him in 2021, where he had kind of a stinky season, and then he just saved it with a win here at this event?
That's exactly what happened. And the fact that you said it's his first singles show, honestly, it's kind of surprising because bowling near him all year, he bowled great. He was around the number or around the show quite a bit. So super surprised to see him here now, but I wouldn't want to be facing him in the first round.
Well, you know what they say about 12 versus 5 seeds in bracket play. Will that happen, or will Tim Foy Jr. fight him off? The race for 2 is about to begin in our second match tonight on the PBA Playoffs on FS1. And the PBA is proud to have Boulders to Veterans Link as the official charity of the PBA Tour. And in tonight's BVL Salute to Veterans, we welcome retired U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant Tony Milano, who served us for 24 years. Thank you, Sergeant Milano, for your service. And to donate, we ask you to go to bvl.org. Randy, it's time for our Bowl TV highlights. I have an idea. Let's throw a lot of Anthony Simonsen strikes.
Yeah, well, he did a lot of that, especially on the right lane where he was perfect. Don't count the fill shot. That doesn't count, right? Man, did he destroy the right lane. Matched up pretty good on the left as well. 258, 230 in his 2 games.
So the bracket's been updated. So next week you'll see E.J. Tackett versus Anthony Simonsen. What ought to be an absolute blast. Then Kyle Troup and Tim Foy Jr., the winner of that race for 2, will take on Graham Faugh next week. And Kyle is standing by with Kimberly right now.
Thanks, Dave. So, Kyle, in your own words, you have said that this season has been rough, but how has that helped you grow and to get you where you're standing right now?
Kimberly, it's definitely been a rough year, but, I'm a confidence bowler, and, I didn't make any shows this year, but still being here, standing here in the playoffs, that gives me a lot of confidence that, I did work hard. It wasn't quite up to my expectations, but one of the goals was to make the playoffs, and, we accomplished that. Consistency matters. Good luck to you today. Thank you.
All right, Kyle Troup against Tim Foy Jr. Talk about consistency. Tim, who earned his tour card in 2024, has been extremely consistent. If you haven't seen Tim Foy Jr. on a TV show this year, you just stopped watching bowling for some reason. Yeah. Well, he's a confidence and momentum bowler, so that leads us to believe, Andrew, that a fast start's important here for Kyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And he got a really good look at what Simon was doing, so I expect him to do something similar. Same ball on the left lane.
Probably deserved a better fate than a ringing 10.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Great start.
And if you're just sitting down, first match won by Anthony Simonsen, and we are using dual patterns here. The left is the short pattern, the right lane is the longer pattern.
After not making a show all year, I would love to know if he was a little nervous there to start.
Well, the voice of Andrew Anderson, who's joined us now from the desk to the booth, along with Randy Peterson. Of course, you just saw Kimberly down there. I'm Dave Lamont, and this is Tim Foy Jr. And that is the same result Kyle Troup just had.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what a season for Tim Foy Jr. And again, getting back to the confidence thing that we talked about with Andrew when we were at the table. It's amazing what it does to athletes in sports. And he's another guy that has a newfound confidence based on the success he's had this season.
Yeah, it's going to be when it rains, it pours for him. When he gets one of these titles, I think he's going to run some down because he is just giving it a chance every week.
Yeah, it's not a question of if, right? It's when. He's going to win. As we take a look at his arsenal, what is that? That is a hypnotize.
Hip me, hip me. Tim, 5th on the points list. He had 7 top 10s this year, 3rd at the World Championship in Reno for his first major television appearance. Look out, mama.
GB5 on the right lane, so 2 different balls for the 2 different patterns for Tim Foy. Why, Andrew, why was Simo so good on the dual patterns?
I think Simo got to keep his angles the most similar until he went to the reactive on the left lane. I felt like throwing that level to start, he actually got to play the lanes the most similar out of the bowlers so far.
All right, but when he went to reactive, how much did it change?
I mean, that was a big angle change. He went from, very straight with the urethane to 18 to 4 with the reactive. I think that's just Simo's touch showing up.
And were you surprised, or were you in favor of him getting out of the urethane that quickly?
I'm happy he showed me what to do.
Looks like Attention Star S2 for Kyle.
Another ringing 10. Unreal.
Back-to-back ring 10s for Troup. Again, it's the race to 2. The one thing that we've come to learn about Kyle Troup over the years is when he gets to that level of concentration and focus, he's as good as anybody on this tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's gone through a couple different mental game ideas. He's been reading books. He's, listens to a ton of music. He gets really, really deep into practice compared to some of the rest of us. And so he takes it very serious.
He's a real focused guy. So when he gets to that level, that mental level, right? It's like there's nobody else in that space. It's just him.
And it's interesting because his reputation to the public is as a good time guy.
Right.
The picks, and he plays with the crowd beautifully, and he's very popular among the audience. But you're right. I think what the fans don't see is the mental work that he puts in addition to the obvious physical gift and the time he puts into that, into conditioning as well.
He is a very hard worker. He's been in the gym more than almost anybody out here. He's been working hard at his game. Sometimes, Randy, we have off years. He hasn't had that bad of a year. He just hasn't won.
Yeah, doesn't make a showing, still grinds his way to top 12.
Made a lot of match plays, Randy, but just could never seem to make that jump necessary.
And then you have Tim Foy, who feels like he's been on every show.
Yeah. Whoa. How about another 10-pin?
It's over here. That was a good shot.
You're right, it was.
5 in 6 shots.
And no quitters either, guys. These are solid, screaming ringers.
Yeah. All right, for me, I would give it a couple more shots. If I leave another ring in 10, I'm out of that ball. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, for Foy and the right lane, I think I would have changed. I would change on the right lane going forward. On the left lane, he didn't throw a great shot yet, but it really depends on what Troup does too. Like hitting the pocket every shot could win the match. So it really depends on who could double and who gets off to the races.
Well, that's one way to defeat a ringing 10 problem, but now he's got a much more. You hear him say it's not the ball.
Yeah, as a competitor, you're throwing good shots. You have 0 strikes, and when you just try to make 1 strike, 6 normally comes pretty fast. And that one just looked like he got a little more up the back of it. Might have to back more forward roll.
More forward roll, less down lane reaction or change of direction. So that ball's going to tumble a little bit more forward, more end over end roll, more side roll. You're going to see a bigger change of direction.
Exactly.
Yeah, his is too slow. How many times did you throw the hammerhead on that one?
Once.
Okay.
Stealth mode?
You just got it to the right? It was the one that went out the column.
Hammerhead?
Yeah.
The stealth mode or the hammerhead?
The hammerhead.
The hammerhead I moved right. They got it out the window.
Okay, but it got behind.
That's Mike Wolf repping with Tim Foy Jr. Aha! There's the double that Andrew talked about.
And Kyle knows that was a big shot. Knows Fiore doesn't have the best ball reaction. Get on him early.
Yeah. Get the 10 out. Back-to-back strikes now and doubles up. Likes it.
Oh. No.
Went down to one knee.
He did like that. That is like the end all be all when liking a shot. You get down on one knee. Yeah, same thing just happened to Tim too. The urethane caught up, and maybe those balls are most likely burning up. And I think Rob Gottschall's probably going to step in and tell Kyle the same thing. We just heard Mike Wolf talking to Tim Fiore about it. That lane, hearing it from the ball reps yesterday, that lane was actually the trickier of the two.
0.6%, why we call it the impossible dream. And
see, now you know why I scratch my head up here, guys.
Yeah.
Andrew, you see it firsthand. He goes down to one knee, leaves it to a 10.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. I can feel that as a bowler. And this is where Tim's like probably okay with hitting the pocket a couple shots. Let's get back in this match. Get comfortable.
Kyle went from being up 12 to all even.
Insane. Finally.
Stealth motor hammerhead. Hammerhead.
And on that 10 pin, just a little swipe with a clean wipe presented by Dude Wipes.
Hey guys, Andrew, this looked a little bit softer to get the ball to allow to come around the corner a little bit better and get a little more flush. I think that's why he got the 10 out on that shot.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think he just gave it a little more time to get some motion down the lane, go through the pins a little better. And this is a ball change.
Called for a re-rack, so he's got one left. Kyle has not used one yet. This is game one of the race for two.
He just switched to a hammerhead.
Hammerhead, symmetrical.
Much better motion.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great ball change.
So Tim Fiore Jr. gets a double after a whole bunch of spares shot. And Kyle Troup's coming off of a two-way 10 that he thought was so good, but it turned out to be a disaster for the two-time PBA playoff champ. So this Kyle Troup having a little bit of a think about what happened in that fifth frame, guys. Randy, you've got some intel coming up.
Yeah, let's go down to the floor, talk with Storm Tour rep Rob Gottschall. Rob, Kyle gets off to a nice start, looks pretty comfortable, doubles up, and then all of a sudden the open frame on the left. What happened and what adjustments need to be made?
Yeah, the left lane's just got a little bit of stretch. You know, Ethan and Simo both played the same part of the lane, like 13 to 7-ish, so there's quite a bit of oil down lane, and he's just got to make sure he gets right of it quick enough. The last one was kind of little in, got a little right, so it was what I would call long right and just got behind it. So we just got to make sure it gets there and the speed's under control.
And by stretch, you mean the urethane ball's pulling oil down to the pins or towards
That's correct,
the pins?
Yes.
Okay, Rob,
That's
thanks.
correct.
Thank you very much, Rob. So I guess that answered my question. I was going to ask you guys is how much did the previous match affect what we're seeing right here? And there we have our answer from Rob.
Well, Andrew would be much better to answer that question because he chases it week in and week out. He experiences that kind of carry down from the guys that he follows using urethane. So, Andrew, what would you, or how would you assess what's happening on the left lane?
Yeah, I agree with Rob. I think it was a little in. I do think the speed control is more of it, but I am surprised he's staying with a bowling ball that strong. It's 900 Global's newest asymmetrical ball. It's very strong, very smooth, but Kyle's gonna throw this one a little slower.
And wait a minute. No, it hits the gutter first.
Yeah, and right there, I just think that's where I thought that ball would come off a touch harder, and that's why Tim did make the ball change. He went to the bowling ball that was going to come off that spot a touch harder. And I think you might see Kyle do the same thing now. In a race to 2, you can't really take too many frames off.
Yeah, and just to quickly point out again the race for 2. So the winner of this will get the first point. And if it's 2-0, we're done. We're moving on like Simonsen over Fiore. If there is a tie in 1 game apiece, we'll have a 2-frame roll-off. And after a tough start, the good thing about Tim Foy Jr. is he did what every bowler tells everybody who asks, how do I become a good bowler? Make your spares.
Yes.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Could have been way worse. 40. Bad shots.
I think that's where you're seeing the lane-to-lane differences show up. For the first time this year, this is the first time we've done dual pattern. And so the speed changes, maybe the ball roll changes that you need. It's really hard to get to do what Simo did. Simo having 258, 230 is 2 games. That's a lot of score.
Oh boy.
Don't chop it.
Okay,
all right, there you go.
Your own strengths in there, bud.
We all got nervous. He said, oh boy, the second he threw it. So close match now as we get near the end of this first point. By the way, you'll get to see Andrew bowl next week against either Jesper Svensson or Jacob Buttriff. Oh, his best shot of this match so far.
That was good. And that's to stay in the lead. I'm looking forward to it. See who we get. The Iceman or Jacob Buttriff.
Also, we'll have next week Jason Belmonte, who had a bye like Andrew did, and Graham Fobb and E.J. Tackett. Belmo will take on either Chris Vai or Ryan Barnes.
He likes that right lane.
Yeah, it really looks like it's getting speed sensitive down lane to get it to come around the corner.
How do you counter that then? What's the move when you say speed sensitive?
You can't get firm. You get firm, you blow right through the end of the pattern. The ball's never going to make its way back, right? And Andrew brought up a really interesting point on the left lane for Troup. Now, does he give that ball he's using? Does he give it one more chance on that left lane, or does he get out of it right now?
In this situation, he just hit the pocket. He is going to definitely stay with it. He's going to throw one of the best he's got. This is one of those ones where you're going to try to razor it, get on one knee, and put the pressure right on Tim Foy.
Looks like we have a extra pin just sort of floating around. There it is. That'll get erased in a moment.
Kyle was hoping to use it.
Yeah, it was a magical 2021 for Kyle. It included a major championship. That took a long way to get there, but boy, that was beautiful.
Yeah, he wasn't going to leave that one in the end. He got that one all the way over there. He gave that one some extra mojo.
Yeah, he gave that one the business at the bottom of the swing there. And that one was going to pick up for sure. Extra challenge bowling on these dual patterns, which brings me back to 2019 when a guy by the name of Norm Duke won back-to-back weeks on dual patterns. Think about that.
That was absolutely incredible to be a part of and watch.
And I was about to say Tim could lock him out. Now we can't.
That was a great shot.
Yep.
He's had a bunch of those.
4 this game.
Yeah, just ridiculous. Even a tiny wiggle on that 10 pin as our cameras show.
Randy, what's more frustrating, wrapping 4 10-pins or stuffing an 8 in the 10?
What a jerk.
Wow. I did not prompt that, so you know right now.
Well, it depends on when you leave the 8-pin.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry.
I don't know, Andrew, my career ended with me leaving a lot of flat 10s with 16 pounds.
What a way to remember it.
Finally gets a 10-pin taken out solidly by the 6.
I really like what Tim's doing on that left lane.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like he can actually get it up the lane and have plenty of continuation. He needs this one to really put some pressure on Kyle Troup.
That's 3 in a row for Tim on the left lane with that ball change.
Well, Randy.
Yeah, a little surprised that that one laid off, and
that's the urethane.
That's the urethane carry down, right?
Yep.
As soon as you let go of it, you hurt him. Oh God.
Pretty nice result, though. I mean, you can't argue with success, no matter how you get there. Tremendous finish for Tim Foy Jr. Kyle Troup's going to have to go to work in the 10. All right, Troop, you won't go one. So strike 9 spare for Kyle to take the first point. If he can't, then Tim Foy Jr. takes the first in the race for 2. Oh, that's got to go. It did.
I don't know if he knew that was going to get up the hill.
It took its time.
Yeah, like you said, it is definitely getting speed sensitive. That ball just a couple shots ago was
Re-rack, please.
Running the 8 over.
It's going to take a re-rack. So 9 spare to nail it down. Of course, the strike would make it even easier.
It's the best mark you can have.
Yeah. Eight spare. Tied up.
Yeah. 1 ball roll off.
Yes!
Right here! Come here!
Kyle Troup takes the first point in the race for 2 over Tim Foy Jr. And this is our frame of the game. Presented by Beatbox.
Yo! Right here! Yeah, no roll-off needed after that hit.
The frame of the game presented by Beatbox, the original party punch. Beatbox, what's your flavor? Please enjoy responsibly.
Looking at another ball here, Andrew. XL.
Yeah, I love it.
A little stronger ball. What is that ball?
That's a bigger core.
Bigger engine?
Bigger engine. So hoping that picks up a little earlier for him.
So Kyle Troup gets the W over Tim Foy Jr. Finds the strike ball at just the right time to take the first point. 2-time winner of the PBA Playoffs knows what it takes to get to that championship strap. And he's 1 leg up on his opponent, but Tim Foy Jr. is one of the mentally toughest guys on the tour. We'll see what happens in point number 2 next. And don't forget, our first round coverage of the 2025 PBA Playoffs continues tomorrow evening on FS1 at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here from Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. Back on April 20th at AMF Riviera Lanes in Fair Lawn, number 1, Jesper Svensson defeated the number 6 seed Jacob Buttriff for his second career TFC win, 13th title, and guess who's going to face off in the round 1 tomorrow? Svensson and Buttriff, along with Vi and Ryan Barnes. In the meantime, Tim Foy Jr. gets a solid 4-pin to start game number 2. Tim lost the first game to Kyle Troup, and the winner of that Svensson-Buttriff match again will meet the man in the middle sitting between Randy and I right here, number 2 seed Andrew Anderson. The good news is you'll have that whole right side to yourself.
Yeah, it's going to be different.
No matter what.
It's going to be different. Get to break down the lane for myself. It's going to be, hopefully, got some good stuff going. I got some good ideas for it.
And so Kyle ended up with a strikeout in the 10th. And we've talked about him being a momentum guy. So let's see if that does carry over into this second game.
Well, there's trip 4s, and then there's that.
Yeah, that's, I would count that as a messenger. I think you should have picked that one out.
I think you're right. It's going to be the 3-pin that does the dirty work.
3-pin messenger.
That's when you know it might be your night.
To come off the corner now.
Yeah, he's not being shy.
Lane.
Yeah, he's not being shy
right?
at the bottom.
He's not getting cheated on the left lane anymore.
That was a huge start for this game, and Tim's going to have to really, you know, bounce back here, throw a couple good ones, and let Kyle know he's still in the match.
No thumbs needed on today's telecast, guys.
I have plenty of extra thumb tape for them if they need it.
They don't.
And Tim gets a break as the 4-pin takes down the 7.
One-hander versus two-handers. I'm sitting next to the guy who just clobbered him, but I mean, nothing wrong. Or I'm not against two-handed style. I think it's very intriguing and it's very cool to watch.
I'll tell you what, if I went back in time and started over again, I would not put my thumb in the ball.
Neither would I. Yeah. No need.
Well, that's the direction for youth bowling, especially on the boys' side, and even some now young women players, young girls are beginning to use 2 hands as well.
I coach 4 of them.
Yeah, so it's out there. It's not going anywhere. And he'll ball.
Screen got me.
Screen got him. And what happens
zoom in, zoom out.
The players can see above them the score, and there's also some other screens up there which shows what you're looking at. They can see it too.
No trip for Tim. Is he not using the same ball now in both lanes? The hammerhead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just made that switch in the right lane.
He said he moved 2 and it still went high.
2 more, just get it to 5. I thought it was 2.
You like that one?
Yeah.
I'd say
It's fine. Let's make
I
a
think
move.
that's got to get soft on the right lane.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's make a move.
So Kyle off an opening double. Thought I heard a groan. It might have been from him, but he's happy now.
Andrew, are you 100% confident in his ball reaction on the right lane?
I'm I'm all about staying in the same ball until it stops striking. He's getting all the off hits, but it doesn't look convincing. But his results would say otherwise. And that hit, whether it was last year on TV during different matches and even at the Battle of the Brands, that was the hit. That was the hit to get the light dicer on the right lane.
Going back to the last game, guys, Kyle was thrown 8 straight strikes.
That's got a hook. No!
I think you thought the same thing, Randy.
Didn't you? I mean, look where that one came back from, Andrew.
That's
that way out there.
I think he listened to Rob's advice. We're going to throw it over there faster, and we're going to get all of it.
And he has that I can't be beaten look about him, too. So let's see what Tim can do about it. That. Pretty shot for Tim Foy Jr.
He's made some good ball changes. He's just a little behind the 8 ball, you know? Kyle's got some momentum going. He said he's a momentum guy. He's riding it.
Late kick on that 8. Gotta go. It does, and he gets a mixer.
It was kind of getting to the point where he kind of needs a strike here.
Oh, I think he knew that too. I mean, as a bowler, you know, you feel it. And he knew he had to throw a couple really good ones there to stay in this match.
Just seems like right now, if Kyle gets any piece of the head pin, he's going to strike. My goodness, that's 10 straight over 2 games.
Yeah, and Randy can attest, when you get a couple of those off hits, how much easier is it to step back up on that lane and throw one really, really pure?
I agree.
You know you got a little left and right of target. You know that you can carry the off hits, and it just makes the swing that much freer.
Yeah, and your pocket feels very big.
Yep.
If you're just sitting down, that third voice you hear is the #2 seed in the PBA playoffs, Andrew Anderson, joining Randy and I in the booth.
That's Andrew the Stud in 2025, Anderson.
Got that right. Wait a minute.
My goodness.
Here it comes. No, he didn't pull the pick out.
Nope, he fake picked this.
He faked it.
Dude! Wouldn't you like to be Kyle Troup right about now? Because he is 6 for 6 and 11 for his last 11. You know, Randy, it's not as if Tim Foy Jr. is bowling poorly. He is not. But right now, Kyle Troup cannot miss.
No, I agree. Let's go down to the floor and talk with PBA champion and Brunswick Tour rep Mike Wolf. Mikey, what advice, if any, do you give Tim Foy at this point?
Just tell him to hang in there, throw a couple good shots, and we're still in this. It's only halfway through the game, so a big second half, and we'll be right there.
All right, thanks, champ.
And he's absolutely right. This can turn on one frame. So Tim has no choice but to present himself and see what happens. Still throwing it really well.
Yep, hanging in there.
That's a 3-bagger.
I mean, Dave, I think you made a great point. It's not like he's bowling bad.
He's not. Look at his max.
He's missed pocket twice.
Well, what he hasn't gotten, except maybe once, is some of the outrageous breaks that Kyle has earned.
He said it, momentum is everything in our sport.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute. There he gets one. Hey, definitely not out of the match. 4-bagger for Tim Foy Jr.
Well, probably the biggest break of this match for Tim Foy Jr. right there.
He needed it.
Well, he has to throw some shade back at Kyle. A couple of 9 pins there instead of those strikes, and this match is about over.
This is for the Andy Verapapa 300 game right here. That was in the whole way. Fortunate not to split, just 3-6-10.
And look at the max scores. Thank you, sir.
A little tighter.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do that. %80 on this 3-6-10. Less than 80% on the 3-6-10.
Oh, I'm probably going to leave that spare ball there.
Yeah, the 3-6-10 split, as some of us call it.
Please.
Very surprised by that. But those commercial breaks, Tim Foy coming out, getting away with the shots. And like we said, like Kyle's ball reaction in the right lane wasn't super convincing. He left that one, what, 1 board in?
Off speed.
And a 3-6-10. But that's a spare you got to make in this situation.
Just like that, Tim Foy Jr. has the advantage. However, it's very narrow. Let's see how Kyle finishes.
And great champions, Hall of Fame caliber players have a very short memory. And they rebound like that.
Yeah. He's kicking himself right now about it, but he knows there's a lot of game left. He's going to have to focus up, get back to his process.
More than likely, this is going to come down to the 10th frame, as the first game did between these two, and Kyle needed strike 9 spare and actually struck out to defeat Tim in the first point race. Now, Tim Foy Jr. trying to tie this thing up and send it to a roll-off.
Gotta have it. Another ring 10.
Yeah. That just... He really liked that one, too.
He's left so many, it's kind of hard to believe that that's the first one in game 2.
Yeah, that was a flashback nobody needed.
Now I would say if I'm Tim, this is a must-strike situation.
Yeah, Kyle can go up in the 9th and 10th and wrap everything up.
Yeah, you want to apply any amount of pressure you can here.
Oh boy.
Oh no, the impossible dream. Mention this has a less than 1% success rate for professionals. The best bowlers on the planet.
This couldn't happen at a worse time. Guys, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't think that was really going to be the miss he could have on that lane. You know, I feel for Tim. He's had such a great year.
Yep.
He has bowled so well, and he's having some television woes, but he's going to overcome them. And he's just got to learn in some of these situations. It's going to take a little more time.
Couple of marks, 9th and 10th. Kyle moves on.
Well, it's as if that one mistake never happened for Kyle Troup. He left the door open just a little bit. Tim, unfortunately, had it slam on his foot.
Just needs 7. Wow. And just when we thought the 3-6-10 miss was going to come back to haunt him.
Yep. Gave it right back.
It's been all Troup for all of one frame in 2 games, honestly.
And the most successful guy in the field in this event is Kyle Troup. 2 championship straps. And he's going to move closer to a 3rd with this victory.
Yeah,
One down. One down.
Yeah,
One
and,
down.
you know, him getting into the 12th spot, you know, that's like a
Rob, you
renewed
want to
hope.
say anything else?
Like, okay, we're in the tournament.
It's kind of finding money, like finding money in the street, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just getting in there. It doesn't really matter what place I come in at, but I'm in the playoffs, and that's what matters. And Troup's taking full advantage.
That's our moment of the match, brought to you by Pilgrims. Chicken can be boring, but Pilgrims is turning chicken nuggets upside down. I love it. You love it. Put it, and that also in a nugget. So Kyle with a chance at 265. So next week we will have E.J. Tackett versus Anthony Simonsen. That's 1 versus 9, and we talk about, you know, I'm sure you're probably a college hoops fan, right? You see that 12-5 every year. Well, we just had a 12-5 right here with number 12 seed Kyle Troup defeating number 5 seed.
Incredible year. Absolutely incredible.
And very gracious as well. So Tim Foy Jr.'s season 3rd of the World Championship, 3rd of the PBA Players Championship. This year, 5th on the points list.
Everything but a win. He's had a great season.
Yeah, and that's what it takes, though. Sometimes, you know, he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he's learning how to bowl out here to make the television shows, and he's gonna learn how to win on television. And it's gonna be a force.
7 top 10s this year for Tim Foy Jr. That's why he was able to get into that top 5 without claiming victory.
It's been a fun year.
Yes, it has.
I think it just goes to show you how hard it is to win out here.
Darn right it is.
So hard.
You know, he proved it at the regional level. He has proven it at the regional level in the East. But now can he do it in all 50 states? And we all think eventually that will happen. So just an updated bracket for you. With Simonsen versus Tackett coming up in the quarters. And Graham Fa, speaking of people who are having great years, and Kyle Troup in the other quarterfinals. What do you think about that other guy, Randy?
I was just getting ready to thank him for spending time with us and wishing him good luck next week in his upcoming match. It's going to be fun to watch. Andrew's had a great season as well. You know, with his win, getting off the schneid, and then just as consistent and steady as he's been. You know, I mean, anytime you can finish second in the points for the season, you're doing something right.
Let's get to Kimberly with our winner.
Congratulations on this win, Kyle. Let's talk about that match because you had the front 6 and then you had that open in the 7th. What did you tell yourself in that moment to get back on the strike train?
May have to drill a new spare ball, but no, it was just one bad shot. You know, I was really feeling it after getting the first game win. Told myself, make 2 good shots, go sit down. And if I can do that 5 times, hopefully I can win the game and move on to the next round.
All right, congratulations on advancing.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Kyle. Andrew, again, our thanks from all of us for dropping by. We really appreciated your insight, and the very best of luck against one of those 2 lefties next week.
I appreciate it. You guys do a great job.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, buddy. A reminder that our first round coverage of the 2025 PBA Playoffs, a smiley face on top of that, will continue tomorrow evening on FS1 at 7 p.m. Eastern. That'll be right here from Thunderbowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan, inside the historic Troup Arena. But coming up next, it's Major League Soccer, San Diego FC versus FC Dallas. We saw Anthony Simonsen looking really sharp in defeating Ethan Fiore. He sets up a great match against E.J. Tackett. And then it was Kyle Troup defeating Tim Foy Jr. 2-0. And Kyle will take on Graham Fa next. For Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, Andrew Anderson, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Lamont. You have been watching the PBA on FS1.